There we go. We are live. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. We are back on Google Hangouts. We were using BeLive with Facebook, and we ran into some problems, so we just did Google Hangout this morning, and we will work on that the rest of this week, try and figure out for next week. But today, we want to talk marketing. Marketing. The one thing that has changed my life. 2 years ago, an ad changed my life. And same for Kat. Many more years ago. Yeah, so what is marketing and what it's all about? We want to talk about not strategy wise, but more what is it, how does it affect us, and more on the emotional aspect of marketing. So yeah, welcome.
Hello. Sorry, I'm very happy to be with Brittany because I'm just, anyway, that was last week. This week is this week. Anyway, so yeah, marketing, how we're affected by it. It's sorry, we've been having a hangout before this happened, so we've sort of done the subject. We'll see you next week. So bye.
Yeah, you missed it. We're done. We're like, we should probably be recording right now. But we started, it's the more you start to talk about it, because how do you talk about it, right? That's always the question, is how do you talk about it? What is the strategy, or not the strategy, the structure to talk about it so it makes sense? But to start off, first of all, is we are all affected by it. There's like this, almost like this false reality in the world that I used to know and be familiar with, that marketing is this demon. It's this bad thing out there that manipulates people. And since I've gotten into it, I've learned that it's actually a beautiful thing when it's done properly and in a sustainable way. Because marketing can either manipulate you or inspire you. Either way, it's hooking into your emotions and basically guiding you into taking an action. So if the marketing is done right, it is targeting the people who are looking for that specific product or service. A lot of the time, like I know for myself, I was targeted without even knowing it. Like the master marketer knew that I needed something I didn't even know I needed. And so that is powerful marketing. That is real marketing, because a lot of the times we are lost, and an ad or something like that, like that's how we learn about things. Even if it's not online marketing or digital marketing, you are affected by it on the TV or in the stores and the mall, anywhere, billboards, everywhere. It's all any kind of consumption of a product or a service that you have taken part in, it has been through some sort of marketing. So yeah, in some way, one way or another, sometime in your life, you have been affected by marketing, and not only in a negative way, in a positive way. If you are wearing a shirt or a pair of pants, or you had some kind of health product that you're taking that changed your life, it came through to you somehow in marketing. So yeah, we just wanted to talk about
yeah. Can I just have a quick interjection here? I think it's brilliant what you're saying. And yes, of course, it's we're touched by marketing, zillions of times a day. Well, I think there was a mark on your mug, was there not? I can't remember. Is there not a mark on your mug? Like, I drink out of these bottles.
Oh.
So every time I drink, I'm in front of you, I'm advertising for this mark without knowing it. For example, I'd also like to stress, this came to me as you were speaking, is that whereas before we used to be in a sort of competitive environment, and the whole world was being competitive, and you had to squash your neighbor to get on top, or your co-worker, even better, to get above him. We're really sort of transgressing right now into a coercive, creativity, co-creative, and all that kind of marketing. So whereas before, and this is thanks to the digital age, where information is just like this, and if you don't like my information, well, you go and read Brittany's, won't you, or whatever it might be. So people have started to change. This is why the millennials and, you know, our children anyway, are completely different to even me. You know, I'm a baby boomer, just on the edge of the baby boomer. I was brought up at a completely different era, and you know, I try and say things about marketing to my parents who are just after war babies, as it were. Or they, you know, they were just after war babies, and they still remember stuff from the war, World War II. You know, like after the war, you know, you had no food because it's blah blah blah. So their look on, you know, when I say things about how we're, you know, giving value and all this, they just look at me as if I'm talking absolute rubbish. You know, how could he possibly give value? You know, because they just had the one carrot to feed everyone, so how could they possibly give everyone a carrot? You know, so it's totally, you know, I have like 3 generations to work with myself, so it's kind of fascinating to play with. But it is true that here where I'm at, actually in Bordeaux, every time I meet people, I can really talk to millennials because they're people who like to travel. They speak generally English, so I just waltz into English. It's not that I can't speak French, but you can just say things. Well, I don't know. I find English a lot more, you know, that I'm used to dealing with. Whereas the French are very structured, and you know, their sentences are really long, and you could just say in 3 words in English. So it's generally a lot quicker in English. So yeah, I'm really on a same level as millennials who, you know, who want to travel, who, you know, I don't care about material wealth. You know, it doesn't mean to say I don't want to earn a lot of money and have a house here and have a house there, but they're not, you know, it's not like you go to school, you get an education, you go get a job and, you know, have a house, have a family and retire. You know, they're really not in that mentality. And this is why I can talk to them a lot more than I can people in my own generation who are still very much in that kind of frame, because they're not living in the digital world. And when I say to people, you know, online and in the digital world, the digital economy just transforms the way we do business. They look at you and go, so do you want to fly it or not?
That so I don't want to cut you off, Kat.
No, that's fine. Please go ahead, because I'm on. You know, I could just talk about this till the cows
come
home.
You just totally got me fired up, because the point you just made about the generation difference and the digital economy and marketing, that's exactly basically what I felt I was trying to say, but couldn't really get it out. And like how marketing was kind of, before it was like this bad thing, and now it's like this value driven. You know, digital marketers can still manipulate in a negative way, but it's not sustainable. Nowadays, like with the millennial generation and the digital economy, things are being done so differently that if you actually want to build a sustainable business in today's world, in a world full of people who are, their bullshit radars are really sensitive now because they've been screwed over so much by marketers, that you have to have a good product to stand behind, whether it's your own or someone else's, one that you trust and you believe in, one that is adding value to people's lives, one that is changing people's lives. So 1, you have to have a good product, and 2, you have to deliver value before asking anyone to even take the product. It's value, value, value. Give before you ask. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, as you know, that you go online and it doesn't matter what you're looking for, you can more than likely, even if it's a really amazing product, get it for free first. You can get a taste of what you want before you actually have to put your hard-earned dollars into it. And that's why people, like, I've seen a lot of just SFM marketers, like I'll go on, if I see one of their ads, I'll go through the comments and see how people are feeling it, and you know, how people are reacting to it. And a lot of people are like, they think, oh yeah, it's this, it's so nice that everybody gives stuff away for free. And so people are starting to push that away because they're thinking, well, if it's free, then it's no good. But you may have to pay for that good service or that valuable product down the line. But you get, this is for free to give you a taste, to build your trust, to tell you, I'm here to add value to your life. I'm not here to screw you over. So if you're someone who has that that tension around an ad that says free ebook or free whatever, don't be scared of that. That is a way for you to get to know that person who's selling the product. If it's something that can change your life, if it's something that you can look into, and that ebook may spark one thing in you that make you realize that whatever that person is selling as a product or a service could really, really help you take your life or your business or whatever it is where you are in your life to the next level. So yeah, the digital economy and the generation that the reason we say millennials is because we've grown up in an information age. So to us, traveling and making money online and not trading money for time is more normal than to say Kat's generation. So Kat, it's probably tough for you to actually interact with your generation when you're working in now, in the time that we're in now, the era that we're in now, because yeah, I see that a lot. People have really closed minds. And even some millennials, right? Like
some millennials.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's super exciting because that is what's changing the marketing world. Is if you're dealing with a world that can go online and get anything for free, basically, you know, there's always a limit. If you're looking for really good quality, like life-changing stuff, then you have to expect to pay. That's the world, you know. If you're getting everything for free, like I've been asked, sorry, I'm excited now because you kind of got me on the kick of the generation change, and that's why marketing is changing, is because you're in a world where the competition is, you're up against real, authentic people who are out there to change the world, who are out there to build and create products that are changing people's lives, to start making big shifts in the world. A lot of major companies and a lot of major products that are changing lives have been created by millennials. So if you go online and you want to manipulate and just make some quick cash, you might make some quick cash, but it's not sustainable. It's not a business that's going to allow you to work 3 days a week and travel the world. You got to add value and change lives in order to do that. So it's really a beautiful thing. And that kind of brings me into being authentic and how important that is to be yourself, be your real self, because in the information age, people want people. You know, like as the traditional and industrial jobs and world starts to fade away in this digital economy, we no longer, all we really want, what people really want is other people. We want to know that we're not alone. We want to know that other people are experiencing the same thing or whatever it might be. And the only way to have that real connection with people, which is required for marketing, real relationship and trust to have a good sustainable business when it comes to marketing, you have to be yourself, be real. The good, bad, and ugly, you have to be raw and share your success and your failures, because we all have those failures. And in order for someone to feel supported and confident in themselves, they need to be looking at or to someone who they know has been there. People want to see your struggle before your success, because then it becomes real, and then it makes them feel like they can do the same thing. So yeah, Kat, I don't know if you have anything to say about being authentic and the importance of it. I have someone calling me right now, and I'm not usually doing this, but this is the 4th time they've called, so I just want to make sure that it's not really urgent.
Yeah.
I'll just let you take over for a second, Kat.
I'll take over for now, or yeah, mute your camera. Yeah, being authentic, being a real authentic self. Well, this is a conversation we were starting to have with Brittany, and it does stem that, you know, I've always sort of been authentic. I don't know what it means not to be authentic. So I know the price you pay in the old world anyway for being authentic, and it has not been an easy journey at all. It's something that, you know, well, if I make a mistake or if I make a, you know, brash decision and it's wrong, well, I stand by what I said. Obviously the action's already made anyway, so how can I not be honest? Or, you know, if I'm in a group of people and I'm supposed to act a certain way because, you know, I've got to fit in with the crowd, I just was never able to do that. I mean, sometimes I tried obviously to fit in, to say the right things, but I always put my foot in it, as it were. So you know, it's been a double-edged sword sometimes, because sometimes I really tried to fit in and I was always, you know, out. So then you have to sort of, you know, try and, you know, you're struggling. You're like, oh my God, you're on quicksand. It's like, and it's just, so you're not winning either way. And it's, you know, it got me into a lot of trouble in my younger days when I was in the Anglo-Saxon world, because I was speaking my truth, you know, people could deal with that, but it was not, you know, acceptable to do or to say it that particular way. So I would just have to try and rephrase what I was saying, which, okay, might be okay, you know. But then when I left the Anglo-Saxon world and I came to the sort of more hot-blooded Mediterranean European side of it, it was very, very complicated because, you know, people would fly off the handle. So I'd fly off the handle also. I mean, it was something I always had to do, control my temper, because, you know, I always felt that I was, you know, from word go, even with children who we know are really lovely to each other, aren't they? You know, I mean, it was just, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't get my head around it. Like, what do you mean? What am I supposed to say? If, you know, this is how it is. Or sometimes you just say something and you didn't mean it that way, but it was misconstrued, and you were all of a sudden really bossy or really this or really that. And all you were doing is like, this is more efficient. Why aren't we just doing it this way? You know, or perhaps I shouldn't have said anything, or, you know, I remember once, for example, and this we had to do in our school. We had sewing lessons, which I loved. I loved sewing lessons. We had cooking lessons, which was great. You know, you come in with the exact grammage. You know, I need 10 grams of this, 100 grams of that, and you just mix it together and come out. And so I was, you know, in the family, I was a really whoop-de-doo cook. I mean, I was, you know, I wasn't like today. I cannot make the same cake twice because I just feel it. I just like, you try and do once, you know, the right recipe to get the texture and the feel or the flavor or the, you know, how it's supposed to be and how long it cooks. And then you just, I'll add another egg or a bit more flour here. Oh, I'll add this. Oh, it's too floury. What can I, you know, and sometimes I just add water to get consistency right or whatever. So, you know, but never, I never understood. And yeah, so for once I'd made a hole in my dress and I was always coming home with ripped clothes, you know, dirty socks, whatever it might be. And Mum just, you know, never really said much, but she didn't, you know, whatever. So I tore my dress and we had sewing lessons. So I said, oh, look, can I learn how to mend these? You know, it's like a square thing when you rip it, you know. Can I learn how to sew this so that I can, you know, then I can do it to my other clothes? And I was sent to the headmistress, and I was, to this day, I do not understand why. Why? I just asked to mend my bloody dress, you know, and so that I could continue. I mean, to me, I still don't understand, but obviously I was being insolent, being rude, or I don't know, maybe I presented it wrong. Maybe she thought I wanted, I don't know what she thought, but anyway. And so when I would be with the headmistress, I would say, well, I don't understand what I said. You know, to me, she was just another teacher. She wasn't like, oh, this big thing. So I would just talk to her normally, obviously with respect, because she's an adult and I'm a child. So there was none of this, you know, I wasn't cocky or anything like that. But often I was told I was very, you know, insolent is, well, insolent, I don't know what the English word for
I think
now.
I think that is the English term. I'm not really familiar with it, but it's like you insolent, it's like a,
yeah, you're being very insolent. It's like, well, no, but can you tell me how I can say it differently, or, you know. And so I was asking my head teacher, you know, I don't understand what I did wrong. I got a tear. I'm going to sewing class. Why can't I don't understand. And she just had to not say anything, turn around and quickly get on with some work, because, you know, often I would be right. To me, I still don't understand why I couldn't do that, you know. Even if I was insolent, or, you know, even if, what was the problem? So I've always had to deal with, like, well, you know, either you fit in, or you're insolent, or you're this. So to me, when we, you know, we get into this new age marketing, and I'm really happy about this, and everyone's saying you've got to be yourself, and I'm like, what the hell are you supposed to be? What is it you're supposed to be otherwise, you know? If I've had a really bad thing, then yes, and I guess I can understand it, that you're being vulnerable by being authentic when, you know, when I realized that I was in a violent relationship, you know, that really does your head in, because you think you're living Cinderella, you know, fairy tale as it is. But you're not. That I can understand. To say that to someone else is vulnerable, but you know, if you admit that, you're not being authentic. But, you know, I understand that, you know, the more authentic and the more unvulnerable you are, or the more you bring that to the table and share it with people, the better you feel, because that's not, you know, hidden down here. It's like up and away, and thank you very much. And next, you know, you can move on from that. Whereas if you're constantly hiding and saying, well, no, I'm fine, everything's fine. When that is the case and you don't know about that, you can't be vulnerable, because that's, you're not aware. Okay, so to me, that I can understand that perception. But, you know, it was very difficult for me to become, to actually stand up about that. But when I decided to do that, then, you know, the floodgates were open, as it were, and I just wanted to talk about it more and more and more. And it would be the other people would be like, right, moving along swiftly now, Catherine, if we could just talk about these headphones, you know, that'd be nice, whatever it might be, because, you know, I'd be really putting on, but to me, it was really therapeutic. Of course, it was painful. And of course, there's some times when you talk about your story and there are things that, you know, are still stuck there, and you know, but you just got to move on, and you know, and so yeah. Sorry, I've been on a bit of a rant.
No, it's good. This is perfect, because so basically, this is what I'm seeing is Kat has a very bold personality. She is who she is. What you see is what you get. So most of us are surrounded by people who aren't like that. You know, like we all know the term two-faced, you know, and that's basically like someone who is this person with this group and a different person with another group of people. Yeah. And what this is like, as Kat's example in sewing class, is society and the education structure and the structure for that class, and we feel secure if we know exactly how we're supposed to act. Or as a teacher, we keep all the kids in a box. They're all supposed to do the same thing and not step out of line and just act a certain way, and then things are great. We don't have to be outside that box, be creative. We don't have to deal with unforeseen challenges. We just send them off to the principal or the headmistress, and then that's how we deal with the problem, instead of dealing with individual children as individuals. So growing up in the traditional way of parenting, all children are to be put in a box. And if the children step out of that box, then they are punished, or they are put down, or they're judged, or they're told that they're not going to be anything, or they're not good at this, or they're not good at that, or whatever it is. So children, because humans are so, we adapt very quickly, we build a false self. And that false self teaches us how to be fake. We be who we are expected to be instead of being ourselves. We hide ourselves. And like Kat was you touched on how, you know, like when you can't just let things go and just be fully self-expressed, you hold in. You see kids acting out and behavioral problems, and like, this kid's a problem, so now we need to put them on medication, or now we need to send them to a special class, or whatever it might be. Society's way of dealing with authentic children, because they don't fit in that box, they need to be on drugs. It's really, really fucking it's really twisted. Sorry for my language, not like it matters, but it's really twisted. But that's the era, the age that we're kind of, I shouldn't say age, generations it's been, that we're kind of moving out of. And we're realizing that people thrive on other people. To be authentic is to be fully self-expressed. So when it comes to what you say, when it comes to how you look, you be fully self-expressed. And it's hard to do that because, like Kat said, you're being vulnerable. And the world is so used to everybody fitting into a certain box. You know, you go to school, you get good grades, you get a job, you know, you're someone to be looked up to if you live in a big house, you drive a nice car, and you have some letters after your name or whatever it is. Then you're someone to be looked up to. But most of those people, because they followed that path and they did exactly what they were told and they fit themselves into that box, are miserable, and they don't know who they are. As adults, we shouldn't be looking for who we are, because when we were children, we were told to be someone we're not. So being authentic Nowadays, unfortunately, it is something to be learned, something to get used to for the majority of people, because we were taught to be who we're not. So for me, for the last 2 years, actually being who I want to be and who feels good to me, who feels being the person that's natural, just being myself, it's like this feeling that is almost, it feels like I'm privileged, or I'm really grateful to be around or to be influenced by people who are teaching me or allowing me to just be myself and encouraging me to be myself, as opposed to trying to be fake and always feeling like there's a void, you know, always feeling like there's just something missing. And that's why we have people and kids acting out, doing crazy things and stepping out of line, or just going from one extreme to the exact completely at next extreme, because we're human. We're meant to be real. We're meant to be authentic and be expressed. And for marketing, just to kind of bring it back to the whole marketing conversation, is to be a successful marketer, you have to connect with people, build relationships with people, build trust, and add value to people's lives. To be a successful marketer who builds a sustainable business, you have to be able to add value to people's lives. And in order to truly do that, you have to get to know who you are and take it from a real, true place within yourself and be real. You can't say or act like you care about other people or pretend that you want to add value to people's lives and have that sustainable. You have to truly want that and want to help other people and change other people's lives in order for it to come through and you to be able to sustainably take that action to do so. So authenticity, learning how to be self-expressed, not caring about what other people think, and just being yourself, because you're going to have haters. You're going to have people who are insecure about themselves, who want to hate on you for being yourself, but you're also going to have the people who truly matter, who truly need you in the world, looking at you saying, wow, they went through exactly what I'm going through. That tells me that I can do this. You know, I can be the person I want to be. And that's all that really matters, because what does that lead to? Happiness. And what do we all want in life? Really, truly, authentically, deep down, is happiness. We just want to be happy. So yeah, millennials, the information age, especially like the next generation after us, they're going to be traveling the world, being truly self-expressed, adding value in other people's lives in ways that we can't even fathom right now. And like, how do you make money online? What is that? You know, how is that even possible? It's just because it's unfamiliar. It is actually a really big industry now, and it's spreading fast. But the only way to do it in a sustainable manner is to do it authentically and be yourself, be truly self-expressed, and add value to other people's lives. People will draw to you. You shouldn't have to chase people. People will want to come to you just because you're being yourself and add value to their lives.
So there you go.
So there you go. Marketing in a nutshell. It's the emotional side of marketing, not the strategy-wise side of marketing, because that.
I don't know. I'd say that's very big strategy, and you know,
fair enough.
101, marketing 101, because without this, you can't go anywhere. But
fair enough.
Yeah, it's this, you know, it's the big foundations you have to lay down, and it's not easy to be yourself every day. You know, you have to deal with all these demons that come up. Well, for me, a lot of more demons because I'm older and my generation was completely different. So, you know, yeah, completely different. And, you know, a lot of people have less demons, maybe, I don't know, just, but you do have to have you know, I heard this quote down. I have to re-listen to the podcast and write that down. But she was saying, like, you know, every entrepreneur is a very brave person because they have to, you know, take the shit off their, you know, their top layer every single day, because, you know, it'll come up again. You're like, yeah, right, I'll just stay in bed an extra 10 minutes, you know, but that really just screws up your whole day and your whole planning. And, you know, those first 10 minutes are so vital. And I think it was Bob Proctor that said, the energy you put into just throwing off the quilt, the minute your alarm goes off, you know, you get that back tenfold. So I think of that every time. I'm like, oh God,
Oh
no.
yeah, I like that. I like that. Because it's always, for me, it's always like that alarm, that snooze button, but I always regret it because once I'm actually out of bed, I feel great. Like I'm ready to go, you know? But that just getting out of bed it's tough. We talked about the total drawing a blank.
Well,
but
so,
yeah, anyway, I love that. What I wanted to say too is as Kat explains like kind of how she grew up and her generation, I just want to say as a millennial to other millennials, thank your lucky stars that you were born in the age that you were born in, because we as this generation still sit back and feel sorry for ourselves, and you know, like we have all these struggles, the same, you know, they're real, but when you really step back and you look at the big picture, you are one lucky soul, because to be born in this era with the information era, with the internet, with the digital economy and how things are shifting is really, really amazing. Like it is a gift all in its own. And I actually, like, we just had, for Canadians, we just had Canada Day on the 1st. And a friend of mine did a post saying what the odds are, what the actual odds are of being born and raised in Canada. And it's beautiful. Like, to me, I feel so lucky. I'm so grateful just to be that one of those people that were born in this country and raised in this country. And I think that the States is the same, you know. But those odds are crazy. Now in America, now I think millennials just topped the largest living generation of in history, like the largest generation, the millennials. So that's pretty amazing as well, because the power that we have with the resources that we have in this era, we really have the power to change the world, to start making massive shifts in the world that are required to not only save the earth, literally, it's not like a big statement, but to save like the earth that we live on, but just to make major changes for the next generation coming in, just the way people are raised. And yeah, like it's huge. If you're a millennial, buck up.
And if you're a baby boomer, come and join the gang.
It's never too late. Jesus, it's never too late.
God.
Ever. Like, yeah, like if you are a human and you're alive and living, you have value to add to this world. And I actually just did a post from Marianne Williamson, and she says we all have a unique way to heal the world. Like we all uniquely need to heal the world. Each individual has a different something about them that the world needs for healing. And I really do believe it, because the more I get to know people and the more I get to know real people, like even people who are living in their false self, now that I can be more real and I know myself better, I can look at those people and see through that ego face, that fake mask that people put on, and see through to the real person, you know? So the more I get to love people, not like people at all. I used to be one of those people that was like, I'd rather hang out with my dog. But like starting to love people, because no matter how damaged we are, no matter how much baggage we have or how many layers we have, we are beautiful and we have major value to add. Just because you haven't discovered it doesn't mean it's not there.
I think on that beautiful note, Brittany, we just better stop there.
Yeah, we are running through. We wanted to keep the calls a bit shorter. So thanks for stopping in, and love you all, and we will see you again next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.